This is a Crack House Chronicles production.
Welcome to the Crack House Chronicles, your favorite true crime podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man that asks, can you imagine a field sobriety test where you have to send a text message and get it correct the first time?
Nope. I'm done.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I think we've talked about it on here.
Probably.
Where you have to doing that and have to keep backing up.
No, I just go get in the car.
Put the cuffs on me.
Yeah, I take it. Here, you do it.
Put the cuffs on me.
I no.
I never get a text message right the first time.
No, I'm awful. I type, and it's just a bunch of garbled mess. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. I do the same thing.
There was at one point, it was in a private group or whatever on Facebook, and I said, hell with it. I just started sending them. You figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not redoing it.
No.
Can't read it. I don't care at this point.
That's it. What's going on today, dude?
Same old, man.
Same old. We've got to put that on a shirt.
We do get it.
We got to, man.
If your graphics guy get his button gear.
I know. I'm going to have to fire him if you don't get to work.
Okay.
You got any good shout outs or anything you want to mention before we get going, dude?
We might have a little bit here. Got a brand new Apple Podcast 5-star review, and this comes from NC. Yeah, I guess. Yes. Capital NC with Y-I-A.
Okay.
Yeah, boy.
NC.
Flavor.
NC, yeah.
Maybe it's Flavor Flav. Anyway.
Yeah, you got me. I don't know.
Anyway, it's entitled, Great Job. Everything is on point with this podcast. My husband told me about it, and I've actually caught up to the current year. We live in Lincoln County and know many of the local stories covered. Also, know a few of your experts. My husband is a retired law enforcement, so it's nice to know the facts are accurate. Keep up the great work. Maybe one day closer to finding a should agree.
That's it. Yeah.
Boy, wouldn't that be awesome?
Hey, it would be awesome. But, we try to keep it accurate as best we can. If we don't, we say that we don't.
That's right.
And we try to correct it.
We will definitely correct it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if we don't get it right, or if we don't know if it's 100% sure, we always try to state that we don't know it's 100% sure. But if it's, it pertains to the case, we'll still put it in there. But we also make sure that we're not saying it's 100%.
Yeah, just throw a bunch of trash in there.
Yeah, we're nothing about that.
Yep. Yeah, if anybody else wants to be like NC, yeah, you can go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star rate and review. You got to write something in the box.
That's right.
And we'll give you a big old shout out. And we haven't pushed this in a while. We do have a Patreon deal.
Yes.
And folks can go there and they can actually get our episodes early and ad free.
Ad free, folks.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy.
Get them a day or two early whenever I get them edited and put out.
That's right.
But as soon as I get them edited, I always drop them on Patreon to give those folks early access.
A little head start for the Patreon folks.
That's right. Doesn't
hurt.
Yeah, and you can go to the store page, get you something cool to wear, get you a t-shirt, get you a mug, get you a cap.
Yeah, and if you want to know about the store page, you can go to the Crack House website and look up the store page.
Yeah, there's a link
There's a link right there.
crackhousechronicles.com.
Yeah, make it easier to find for you folks.
Yep. All right, Dale. Ain't nothing else, man. We're going to get going in this episode.
We are. And speaking of, yeah said in our local stores, we got a little more local good today, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. All right, we'll be right back. All right, Dale, we are back. And on last week's episode, we covered the Shelby Adult Bookstore murders.
Yeah, Shelby 3.
Yeah, Shelby 3 Bookstore murders. And this happened on January the 17th, 1987.
Correct.
And on that night, there were 3 men that were murdered in that bookstore.
Yes.
2 others seriously injured.
Correct.
And on this episode, we are so honored to have Dianna Melton. She is the sister of Travis Melton, who was 19 years old. He was working that night.
He was the employee, yes.
Yeah, he was working that night. So we're pleased to have Dianna on the show and talk to us and answer some questions that we have for her, and maybe she can tell us some more stuff.
Enlightenment.
Yes. So Dianna, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So one good question I've got, were you, who was older, you or Travis?
I was.
So you're the big sister.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of little brother was Travis? Tell us a little bit about his younger days. What was he like?
Oh, he was a little pest. I'm telling you. he would aggravate everybody and everything. He would get like rubber snakes and put them on the couch and, stick them like halfway up and you sit down. He was a joker. He would always aggravate you.
Yeah.
He would sit there and just do all kinds of stuff to you.
Perfect little brother, sounds like.
Yeah.
A little jokester, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yes.
What kind of stuff was he involved with at school? What were some of his hobbies and things he liked to do?
He really liked hanging out with his friends. And, going to... Back then, there was a skating ring.
Yeah.
He liked to, go to the skating ring. But, just hanging out with his friends and family and stuff. He didn't really have no sports. He played ball and stuff like that, but, he didn't really have anything major, he was in love with, just a regular good dude.
Yeah, just a good old boy, huh?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about him getting this job at the bookstore. Travis just was 19 years old. He was just a kid, yeah. So how did he get the job at the Shelby bookstore?
He was working for Harold Decorating Company, and they made Christmas decorations for all the cities and stuff. And he got laid off like the end of November, like maybe about a week or two before Thanksgiving, or right there at Thanksgiving. And he was going to get to sign up,
Right.
So one of his friends had told him about this job at the bookstore that he could get paid underneath the table. And he was like, well, that's some extra money, because he had just bought a single-wide trailer.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, I'll get some extra money here. So, signing up and working underneath the table. So he started working there maybe the first week of December or the second week of December. I think it was the second week of December he started working there. And so, he worked there 5 weeks, 6 weeks before this happened.
Wow. Let me ask you this. How many hours a week was he getting? Was he getting paid pretty good to do this job? Was he
just working night shifts, or is it all just, I don't know, got a lot of questions?
Yeah.
Sorry.
He was working day and night, but he worked probably about 3 to 4 days a week.
That's pretty good.
Oh, so he's getting pretty good bit of hours in.
Yeah, he was probably working about 30 hours a week.
Yeah. Do you know how many employees were working at the bookstore when Travis started working there or was working there?
I think there was 3 of them.
Okay. Did Travis ever say how he liked the job there? Was it a pretty good job to have?
He laughed about it. He said, as long as I'm making money underneath the table, he was like trying to hurry up and get this trailer paid off that he'd just bought,
Mm-hmm.
That was his main goal, to hurry up and get it paid off.
Yeah, I can't imagine, yeah. You got bills, you got to do what you got to do.
That's right.
No doubt about it. Did he ever say anything about the job? People coming in and out, any shady people or sketchy characters coming in and out?
No. I even stopped there one day while he was working,
Yeah.
I'd been to Cleveland Mall shopping for Christmas and stopped by there and seen him for a few minutes, And they wasn't really but like one other person in there when he was there besides me.
Yeah.
And they had the magazines and all that and stuff, but they also had, drinks and knick-knack stuff in there too.
Yeah. So let's talk about January the 17th of 1987. When did he go into work that day? Do you know what was his hours that day?
What I know of, I think he went in like at 4. He was supposed to work 4 to closing.
What time they closed, do you know?
I want to say it was 12.
Okay.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, definitely. So, what happened this night? Did you can remember that law enforcement told you guys?
That, we, like y'all, we've heard all kinds of rumors and stories and stuff, but what they said was that Glenn Miller, they were pretty sure he was involved in Jackson and Sheets, and they just said that they went in and they shot them all and set, fire to the building.
So they told you that right off the bat, or this was a little bit later?
A little bit later.
Okay.
A little bit later.
What was some of the initial stuff they told you, or did they tell you and your family anything initially from the get-go?
Well, really, from the get-go, to be honest, that day, that Sunday, my mom and daddy always cooks a big dinner, on Sunday for everybody. And everybody's supposed to be there. This is a family, sort of thing. And my aunts and uncles were coming up from Gastonia. So, when I get to mom and daddy's house about 11:30, whatever, they ain't there. My mom and daddy's not there. And I walk in, and I can see where mama had started cooking, I thought, well, maybe one of them had a flat tire on 74 or something, I didn't really think nothing bad had happened,
Mm-hmm.
And I kept on waiting and waiting. I was like, well, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock now, and still not heard nothing. And mom and daddy's not here. And then one of my uncles had called and said he wanted to check on Bud, which was Travis, which his nickname is Bud. He said, I heard last night that there was a fire at the bookstore. And I said, well, okay. So I called Shelby Hospital and asked them, was there Travis Melton there? Because I thought maybe he got hurt, burnt, or something or another, Still nothing. So I thought, well, that's strange,
Mm-hmm.
And my mom and daddy came in probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And when I say mom and daddy, I was like, where y'all been? What's going on? And I just looked at my daddy's face, and I've never seen him cry.
So you knew right then something was bad.
Terrible.
Yeah, he just looked at me and said, let's go. And that was it.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Wow, I can't even imagine. So what was...
Wow, so you just had no clue until they came home.
No, we didn't know nothing. Mom and daddy, the police didn't get in touch with mom and daddy. Somebody had called and told them that something had happened at the bookstore. And mom and daddy took off down there to the bookstore that Sunday morning. And then when they got there, the police, and everything told them. And then they took them to the police station and talked to them and, told them. And then, took him to the morgue to identify him and everything. So.
Wow. So how did it progress to you and your family finding out the extents of what had happened at the bookstore that night?
It was over a couple of weeks before we really found out a lot more stuff that was happening, The police wasn't really telling us that much. We was hearing rumors and stuff, and the police would come and talk to mom and daddy, come talk to me, we talked and talked, about, mafia and all this stuff, everything going on and stuff, but they really didn't tell mom and daddy nothing really, except for what we heard, rumors and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
until, but, it was just sort of weird about everything that happened. Because if I ain't mistaken, after this happened, the KKK, I'm not for sure if it was that Sunday or it might have been a couple weeks later, marched through Forest City. I remember that. And then I'm thinking back to all that stuff. But I want to say it was that following Sunday that they marched. But, I'm not for sure because I just remember it in the newspaper and then everything started, clicking like what all this is, KKK, white supremacists, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they probably couldn't tell you much because they didn't know anything. But
no, they didn't.
But I remember when it's happening, and there was a lot of talk about mafia too at the first. And then we've dug up a little bit of stuff, here and there, but nothing substantial.
Yeah.
So
nobody really said anything to it. It was like probably about 8 or 9 months later. I'm not really sure how long it was before they, brought up Sheets and Miller and all them.
Right.
Did they tell you anything initially about the mafia or what their thoughts were that the mafia might be involved?
That's what, the first policeman told Mom and Daddy they thought it was a mafia hit because of money, laundering money or whatever through the bookstore and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Plus those gas cans and stuff, would kind of make it seem that way.
Yeah, that's what they, thought at first, that, but, we never did really know until when they arrested them and everything went to trial to figure out what the main reason was.
Yeah. How was your mom and dad doing after that? I mean,
It ruined our family.
Really? Mm.
My mama blamed my dad blamed my mom. It was just, never the same.
Oh, man.
Really? Oh, wow.
That's sad.
It is sad. I don't guess they ever got over it either, did they?
No.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, you ain't never.
No, I mean, we get over it, but just the fact that.
Try to go on, but
yeah.
How do you really?
Yeah, how do you go on?
Not really having the answers to really what happened.
Yeah. So I guess at this time you'd done, like you said, you'd went over there for lunch that day, Sunday, and you'd moved out by then and doing your own thing.
Yeah, I was married and had 2 kids then.
Yeah. Wow.
So did you hear any other rumors besides the white supremacist stuff and the mafia stuff, or you said you heard a lot of different rumors? Was there anything else that you can remember?
They said about the gay, lesbians, and all that, and stuff like that. They talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
mainly, their main goal was really, from the get-go, was the mafia. They really believed it was the mafia.
Do they think maybe the mafia had maybe hired Glenn Miller to do this and some of his people?
They would, who knows? It could be true, and who knows?
So they didn't really tell you anything like that?
No, the police wouldn't really tell us anything,
Well, it's understandable, but still, dang, you want to know something.
Yeah.
hmm I mean, they would call Mama and Daddy and talk to them probably once every 2 weeks or something like that before they arrested them. To check in to see if they've heard anything. And at the funeral, they were all over at the funeral. The policemen were everywhere there.
Yeah. So let me step back just a little bit. When you guys found out, Travis had been killed, what did they tell you, how he had died? Did they tell you?
All they said that he had been shot. That was all.
Okay. When did you and your family find out the extent of his injuries?
It was probably about a week or 2 later when they finally released the body, because they went and done an autopsy and I guess some other stuff or whatever they done, just check everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably about, he was killed on the 17th, and we didn't have the funeral until like January the 25th, 26th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was about a week and a half later because, they kept the body.
Yeah. What was the extent of Travis's wounds that you can tell us?
What I remember, I could be wrong, but what Daddy told me, that Bud had been shot, Travis had been shot like 5 times.
Wow.
But that, he had 5 open wounds, which, could have been ricochet bullets or whatever. We don't know.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot worse than what we've been hearing.
Yeah.
It was just here that was like put everybody on the floor and execution style and you're out. But 5 times is a little bit rough. I mean, 1's bad, but
Yeah, very bad.
my gosh.
Do you know if Travis knew the other guys in the store that night? The 4 other guys that you know of?
I think he knew Kenny Godfrey,
Mm-hmm.
which he lives up here. And also Paul lived up here.
Yeah.
I think they sort of knew each other.
Okay. I didn't know if he knew any of the ones that survived, the John Anthony and the James Paris.
No. Because Mama asked him, James, if he knew Bud or Travis. And he said no, he didn't know him, except whenever he stopped by, he would see him in the store, but, really know him, no.
Okay.
And if you want to call him Bud, that's totally fine.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't think you have to be proper.
Yeah,
just call him about what you love.
Yeah, we call him. We didn't even know he went by Bud until you told us. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Wow. After all this going on, how often did law enforcement keep in touch with you and your family after they arrested Jackson and Sheets?
They talked to Mom and Daddy at least once a week.
Okay.
At least once a week. Or the DA, he would call and talk to Mom and Daddy. And the DA also would talk to Doreen and her family, the Godfrey family.
Okay. So they take they take Douglas Sheets to trial. Did you and your family come to Shelby for the trial?
Every day we were there.
Really?
So how did that go?
Not good. I mean, when we would pull in, they had placements on top of the roof and all that, But I don't know if I wish I could talk to the jury people again to see why they done that, because there was a lot of stuff that made sense, and then the evidence and stuff did sort of match up pretty good, But I know one day at trial when the DA, we sit like right at the front, and he brought out pictures of Bud, and it was, I guess he done it on purpose to make sure we seen those pictures. And I just looked at Mom and Daddy, and they were just in tears.
Wow.
To show the jury, and everything, those pictures, just, I guess, to get us emotional or riled up or whatever, where the jury can see.
Yeah, I get it. But dang, can't even imagine the turmoil.
Just having to relive that.
Yeah, every day going to trial. So what was your thoughts on the trial of Jackson? Do you think they had enough, or...
You mean Sheets?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the trial of Sheets. Do you think they had enough on him to convict him, or...
Because all we ever hear is they said, he was in Kansas City in a blizzard, but we never hear what the other evidence was.
Yeah.
What I remember, I think so. A lot of it was hearsay, and somebody in the jail was talking. I guess you call it jail lawyer or whatever, Somebody else was in jail with him and heard him talking and, told the DA more stuff. But, that's hearsay. Who knows if it was true or not.
Right. So, like, he was talking to a fellow inmate and they were telling on him. Right.
He was hearing stuff from them, whatever, and then he would go tell the DA and the police about it, what he was saying.
I didn't know anything about the snipers being on the roof for this trial.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I don't remember because it's been so long, but it does make sense that they would have that and be prepared.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Yeah.
Especially when they're talking about how big of this militia thing was it to
But when we would get to the courtroom or courthouse, whatever, go through, they usually took us a different way into the courthouse, to the courtroom, because of the, TV cameras and all the news reporters and stuff like that.
Kind of protect
They sort
you
of kept us away from them.
I get that too.
Which is good, I think.
What do you remember about Glenn Miller being there and being on the stand?
When you looked at him, you thought he was just a regular man,
Mm-hmm.
But if you sit there and stare at him and look at his eyes, they were just black. They're just like no soul, no emotion, no nothing. It was just hollow.
So they dropped the charges on these guys. They didn't do anything to them.
Nope, nothing.
Yeah, it is kind of odd to me that they have that one thing, about the Kansas City, and it's a good alibi, which I understand if you have a good alibi, you can't do it, right? But why just drop the whole dang thing even on the other guy? Did he have alibi, or did they just think they didn't have enough to get him, It's just weird.
It is. I mean, if they had arrested him, put them in prison, the other families in Kansas City or wherever it was where Glenn Miller shot these other families would still be alive today.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he got off easy. He just did a couple years, and then they actually gave him what do you call it?
Immunity, or not immunity, but
No.
put him into the
Witness protection. That's what I'm looking
Yeah.
for. Witness protection, and then heck, in 2014 he went and killed a bunch more people. So it's just, I don't know. I think he just hoodooed the whole system, either that or he knew something on somebody or something. He got out really easy, I thought.
So after that happened, I still go back and I still think he was the main one who done the shooting.
You think he was there that night at the bookstore?
I think he was. He knew too much.
Very possible.
Yeah.
Even if the other guy was in Kansas City, I think. And I don't know. To me, the way it played out, like Miller, I think he's way smarter than they gave him credit for. I think he played them the whole time, knowing that this guy had an alibi, and if he could make up some stuff to get them to trust him, the other boys could get out on it, and then they'd all be out.
Yeah.
Except they got the boys on the weapons charges and give them 20 years, and he only got, 5?
Yeah.
And out in 3.
Yep.
But Dale and I, we've researched this, and we've heard some things. Going back to the mafia part of it. Do you know who was running the bookstore? Who owned it?
I can't remember his name. He was from Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a super nice man.
Yeah.
He really was. When everything happened, he told my mom and daddy not to worry about anything, that he would take care of everything. He told mom and daddy whatever they wanted, he would do. And, he paid for Bud's funeral, everything. He told them it didn't matter what it cost. Then he gave them enough money to pay off Bud's bills. And, that was the single wide trailer, everything.
Man.
He was super nice. He was calling mom and daddy a lot, talking to them, asking if they need anything, want anything. He was really a super nice man.
Well, we've never heard that.
No.
That's really, really nice of him to do that.
Absolutely. So where do you think the rumors come from on the money laundering out of the bookstore?
No, but that was probably the number one rumor that we heard more than anything. Of people talking, saying that money laundering was going through the bookstore and stuff.
That makes a
Not
lot
yet.
of sense, because you wouldn't think, I know they could have these places everywhere, but kind of like it was out in the middle of nowhere in Shelby, you wouldn't think, like you even said, you went by there and there's like one person in there. You just wouldn't think they'd be generating that much money in this county for that
to
type
keep
of
that
service.
place going.
Right. And I always wondered about that myself. But if it's an inside thing situation, you don't really need a lot of real business to work it, because you're using it for another purpose.
Mm-hmm.
As a
But I
front?
know there's like
As a front,
3
yeah.
people working there.
Yeah.
Do you know if there was somebody who quit right before Bud came in, that they needed to hire somebody?
That I don't know. They must, they had to be, because, there was only like 2 and then Bud came in and that was third.
Right.
Third one. Maybe they just, one worked first, one worked third, second, or whatever, and they wanted somebody where they could have days off or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we've heard the rumor that there was some money going through that place on different occasions, and that was probably the reason those murders took place that night, and that place was set on fire. We've heard some pretty concrete stuff on that. So I just didn't know what your take was on it that you may have heard. And
I still believe that was the main thing. Somebody maybe stole some of the money or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That went through there or whatever. Nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had heard that was exactly what was happening. We done a lot of digging and looking and reading and trying to find stuff, and we had seen some stuff on where maybe somebody had quit earlier. That's why I asked, because they had been detected that they were taking money, and so they got out of there. And then I guess when he started working there, he just was there at the wrong time when people come in to shut all that down.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, Diane, is there anything that we haven't asked you that you want to talk about or tell us or tell our listeners?
No, I mean, we pretty well gone over a lot of stuff, but I'm just hoping maybe a detective is listening to this, or, maybe try to reopen this case and try to find the real truth now. I mean, DNA is a lot advanced more now these days and
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that. So maybe somebody will take another look at it and try to solve this case.
So have you guys heard from law enforcement in years or no?
No, I have not heard nothing from them.
So I guess you're probably the main person they go to if anything happens or
Information comes
yeah,
up.
information. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Have you ever heard the name Bobby Davis?
Bobby Davis?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we just wanted to throw that out there and see if you'd heard that name. Yeah, but we'd heard that somebody was working there and then quit. And then maybe that's how Bud got his job there, your brother Travis. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that person was doing some money laundering there. And
Or they were skimming.
yeah.
They were skimming off the money laundering because what are you going to do? You can't tell on them.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
they're already
right.
illegal, so they just decide to take them out. But if they are out of there before that happens, and then,
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, that's true.
Do you ever
Because-
talk to the two guys that survived? When was the last time you spoke to those guys or your parents?
It's been probably, my mama passed away in 2012, so it's probably been 20 years. Not that long. I know my mama talked to him a few years before she passed away, and that was James Paris, and he was living up in the mountains somewhere, because I remember mama telling me that he was up there in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably the last time I've heard anything about him.
And John Anthony, he stayed local to the Cleveland County area, didn't he?
Yes, as far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've messaged John Anthony a few times back and forth, and I think he's planning on doing the show too and tell us his accounts of that night, which I'm really looking forward to.
yeah, maybe he can shed a little bit more light.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dianna, we certainly appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit more about Travis Bud Melton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know he went by Bud, so that's pretty dang cool.
Well, I saw somebody comment on their Facebook page, and then they said Bud, and then said that, they were pretty much the
Yeah,
same
everybody
age.
knows him by Bud.
And it just devastated them when they lost him.
Yeah.
Must have been a really great guy.
Yeah. And you did listen to our episode too on the bookstore, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Was there anything that we missed or got incorrect? Because we always like to fact check and make sure we do everything correctly, because a lot of stuff is construed out there in newspaper articles. And did we do anything or get anything wrong that you know of?
No, done good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always try to either that or make a point to say, that whether we know it for a fact or not, we try to be as clear as we can.
Absolutely. But if there's not anything else, we certainly do appreciate you so much coming on to talk a little bit more about this.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It means a lot to us for you to be able to open up, and I know it's not easy for you guys to talk about stuff like this, and we thank you so much for coming on and being able to do it with us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for reopening this. Maybe something will happen with this.
We hope so.
Justice for Bud, man.
We're going to keep pushing it. Well, thank you, Diana, and I hope you have a great day.
Same to y'all. Thank you so much.
All righty, bye-bye.
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 All right, Dale. We want to thank Dianna Melton for coming on the show, man.
Man, I know that stuff's not easy. And she really wanted to come on here and talk to us about Bud, and give a little bit of insight about him and how he was and the person he is, instead of just a name and a story. And I can't imagine, having to relive that or
No.
whatever.
I can't either.
Especially not knowing and nobody's, paid for it or whatever.
Yeah, and telling us, about her parents, how it just tore the family apart.
Just destroyed them, man.
Yeah. Can't even imagine.
Right.
Can't.
Sad stuff, man. And just, I don't know, just brave to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah, a good soul to be able to come forward And she reached out to us to
Yes.
come on here and do this. We didn't contact her at all.
Right.
And it was just amazing. She's a good friend of the show now, and think a lot of her. And man, I can't even imagine her having, like you said, having to relive this, tell the story again, and talk about it. But
Yeah, and in her, listening to the show and saying that she thought we did a good job with it was,
very humbling.
pretty good. Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a story. It's sad, man. It's right here in Cleveland County. It's unsolved. And we did ask a couple questions, about the mafia and stuff, because we have been approached. People telling us things and talking about it and wanting to talk about it. So
Yeah, and we may have a few more folks coming on talking. Maybe.
hopefully law enforcement will take another look at this, and if they got any
Get some
evidence out
fresh
there,
eyes, man. Yeah.
they can get stuff analyzed. They got better equipment now they can do things with.
Yeah. I wonder if they still got those trash cans. Those gas cans.
I don't know.
Probably not.
No, I ain't no telling.
Yeah, because I don't know what evidence they could have had really, besides shell casings and gas cans.
Yeah.
They may have been fingerprints, but these are probably gloved up and.
Yeah, they did find fibers on the gas cans, from gloves. But it would be my thing if I was going to do something like this. I would think that the detonators would work and there be an explosion to take care of all the
right. I'm sure they was counting on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe they got some evidence. Maybe they got something there they hadn't tested.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Cleveland County, get on it. All right, Dale. Again, we want to thank Dianna for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right, we're going to get out of here, bud.
All right, let's roll.
We want everyone to be safe. Please be careful out there and always be aware of your surroundings.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is the Crack House Chronicles.